If you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now, along with the bell icon so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And if you're already subscribed, then check and make sure that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. And of course, be sure to give the video a like as well as share it on your social media. The white supremacists hate that. And now, the Sunday address. One of the talking points that's become a staple of the black media message is that we abstain from taking part in elections unless there's someone or something on the ballot specifically for us. And you know what? The same thing goes with the money. It's that time of year again, they say. Yes, it is. It's the time of year that totally and thoroughly derails most black people's black empowerment plans. You see, if you're not able to marshal your resources and you're not able to actually hold on to your money, then you're not going to be empowered at all. And it's just a fact that most of these holidays that come from the dominant society are absolutely constructed and calculated specifically to separate you from your money. Day before Thanksgiving is usually the busiest retail shopping day of the year. Then the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, and tomorrow is going to be Cyber Monday. Oh yeah, they got it all lined up. They're telling you exactly what you need to do. Buy, buy, buy. People gain a lot of weight on Thanksgiving Day, and then the very next day their bank accounts lose a lot of weight. And then there's Christmas too, and if you make it a point to partake in all of these things that the white media tells you to, then it's no surprise you're broke. And no, it is not your imagination that it seems as if all of these events are conspiring against you. That's because they are. Most of the legitimate holidays and all of the phony ones like Valentine's Day, etc., have been co-opted by corporate America and are nothing more than just another advertisement for you to buy something from them. And that's the reason why there's so much hype. That's the reason why there's so much marketing behind it. That's the reason why they're constantly telling you, don't miss this, be part of the herd. And since black people oversample when it comes to things like entertainment, I am not at all naive to the idea that black folks can get swept up in the hype. The overeagerness is not organic. It's purely manufactured, and everybody knows it. This isn't some necessity that's being satisfied. It's FOMO. Fear of missing out. But where black people are concerned, we're not afraid of missing a discount on some already overpriced crap from China. What we're afraid of is missing out on being part of the hype. It just goes to show how vacuous and empty so many people's lives are that the closest to actual human connection that they get is standing in line at Best Buy with 100 other people who are just as desperate for meaning as they are. Now, of course, there is another side of that coin. Many people are there in hopes of scoring a discount on a TV or a computer or some other consumer electronics, toys for adults. And while they may not be as empty as the others, they're still every bit as misguided. Unless you're buying something for your business, and let's be honest, 99% of Black Friday purchases have absolutely nothing to do with a business at all, then you're buying it to impress other people, or worse, you're buying it so you can go ahead and distract yourself. And no, this is not just being picky for pickiness sake. If you're going to be empowered, you better start learning to discipline your dollar. Discipline means that you're not going to be throwing it hither, thither, and yon. It means that just because the white media tells you here's a sale, that doesn't mean that your wallet's supposed to open up. Black Friday sales are a ripoff anyway, and you didn't need me to tell you that, and you didn't have to wait until this year to figure that one out either. Stores have been playing the masses like a fiddle for years, playing them for suckers. As soon as corporate America figured out how huge a consistent moneymaker Black Friday had become, they began a pricing strategy where they would raise prices during the summer, lower them after school begins or in September, then raise them again in October because that's when most people finally begin actually paying attention to prices in anticipation of Black Friday. And then around the beginning of November, they start announcing there's early Black Friday sales going on. Black Friday used to be a day, now it's a whole freaking month. But when you look at the prices, they're no different than they are the rest of the year in most cases. The hype is fake. The discounts are fake. But the money that you give them, well, that's 100% real. And I think that you ought to start feeling some kind of way about that. Getting jolly in the behind about giving somebody else your money, that has got to be the most addle-brained thing ever. But in all honesty, people have been conditioned to be this way. Well, it's time to break the programming. Instead of having some white corporation put on a whole bunch of propaganda, advertisements, telling you that you need to buy this and you need to buy that and you're going to miss out if you don't go and buy this now. Instead, you need to be focusing on what's really important. Don't be focusing on what consumer electronics you're going to be buying. Focus on getting your dollars stacked up for what you need to get in order to empower yourself. Black Friday is behind us. Christmas is just around the corner, and many of you have already most likely bought gifts for your family and friends. And again, I ask why. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with buying gifts for family and friends, but I am asking, why did you do it now? Because a corporation put out a whole bunch of propaganda, their commercials are on, carpet bombing you with buy this, buy that, and you have to do it when they tell you to. And a lot of folks go right along with it. That's the power of repetition. You don't need corporate America to give you permission to give gifts to your loved ones, their birthday, or just because you care about them. That's good enough. In fact, the right thing to do is to buy that stuff not at the time that corporate America tells you, because that's when they raise the prices. But again, hype and marketing have it where it's a tradition now. It is the tradition. It's the culture. The advertisements and all the PR, it's actually a pressure campaign. They've made it socially inappropriate not to be buying gifts when they tell you to. They're the ones who have set the expectations for what you do. And if you don't buy something when they tell you to, when they put out all this hype, now it's time for you to be buying for this occasion. If you decide that you're not going to do it, well, obviously that's because you don't care about other people, right? After all, everyone else is doing it. They're buying things because they're being generous. You, on the other hand, you're being stingy or otherwise tight-fisted because you don't buy those things when some corporation tells you to. Defying social convention isn't just about disengaging from things we didn't create. It's about far more than no longer being participants with holidays and traditions that our enemies came up with. What it's actually about is thinking and acting for yourself. That's the point. Every action you take must be motivated by you. As a wise man once said, we do not think our way to proper action, we act our way to proper thinking. You can think about doing something different all you want. That changes nothing. Do something different. And even though it's going to feel alien and uncomfortable and unnatural to you at first, in time your mentality will adjust and change. It's like exercising regularly. You have to just resolve to start doing it even though it's not going to feel right to you. And then you'll adjust to it later, and then you start liking it in the end. That's how the progression actually works. Look, it's just a fact. Whenever I see the white media or any white power at all telling me to do something, they're sitting here pushing something at me, that's how I know, okay, that's what I'm not gonna do. And by the way, it's not just the holiday season that's used as a pitfall. They also do it when it comes to your tax return. They've already got that set up. Oh, you got some tax return money coming, and we know exactly where you should spend it. Just in time for your tax return, now you can go ahead and spend it over here at this store. We're having a sale. Oh, how fortuitous. Yeah, they got it down to a science. Because fleecing people, slashing their pockets, and keeping them in a perpetual state of destitution, that is white power's business. From the very beginning, this whole evil enterprise of white supremacy has been about monetizing its oppression so that it becomes a self-perpetuating machine. That's how you create a system of oppression that's going to hang in there for the long haul. It's about more than just whether or not you can establish the upper hand. You got to get this machine to fuel itself. And if you've really got your oppression game on point, and you've made sure to put in the time to indoctrinate and condition the people that you're oppressing into going along with the system even if they don't like it, well, before you know it, those people you oppress, they're going to be taking part in it too. In fact, they'll be the main ones lining up with money they don't have just so they can hand it over to you. And when that happens, that means that effectively there is no opposition to your oppression. That's what that symbolizes. When the very people you're oppressing are sitting here saying we're going along with it, in fact, shut up and take our money. Yeah, there is no opposition now. They can grumble, but grumbling is not opposition. Opposition is when you show defiance. Opposition is when you refuse. Opposition is when you say, I won't. That's opposition. Your grumbles and gripes do not count as opposition. Opposition is demonstrated by what you do. You see, that's one of the sad lessons of the civil rights movement, as Dr. John Henrik Clarke pointed out. It wasn't so much a civil rights movement as it was a consumer rights movement. Black people marching, demonstrating, getting beaten up, having attack dogs turned on them, all because they're trying to integrate somebody else's lunch counter so you can give your hard-earned money to some moron, some racist puke who doesn't like you in the first place. And nobody else operates this way. You look at Asian businesses, Jewish businesses, what they do is they make sure that they empower themselves. They're not trying to find new and inventive ways to give their money to other people. That's the reason why when a dollar is in their community, it touches the hands of all the folks who are there in their community a bunch of times before it finally leaves. They don't just sit there and just spend it the moment that they get it. Black folks, on the other hand, as soon as we get that dollar, it immediately leaves. In fact, it's practically gone before we get it. And that's because we got our minds on how we're going to be impressing other people. That's what we're thinking about. That's where that mentality comes from. Other folks, they spend their money with intention and foresight. But in too many cases, black people have been practicing making a purchase as a chance for social validation, as an opportunity to escape from reality for a while. We're trying to do retail therapy and it doesn't work. Corporate America always has the propaganda going. You gotta buy something for so-and-so. Just think about the smile on their face. Never mind the fact that when it comes to people who you care about, experiences are much more important than material items. But to us, for a lot of us, it represents an opportunity for somebody to show some gratitude. It's all about getting that psychological dopamine hit. There it is. Now I'm valued. Now it's been confirmed that this person cares about me because I show that I care about them. But it's being done in a way that doesn't really actually empower either one of you. This is the time to strengthen your mental defenses, to rededicate yourself to the unbreakable principles of Black empowerment. How much money did you spend for Black Friday? You don't have to tell me, just think about it. How much are you planning to blow for Cyber Monday? And then Christmas, and then your income tax return, or spending that you're going to be doing for Super Bowl weekend. You know, if someone had access to your spending information and tallied up how much you had already blown and how much you're planning to spend, would you be proud or embarrassed with that number? I'm not saying don't buy anything at all ever under any circumstances. What I'm saying is think before you do. Every single purchase you make, great or small, whether it's whimsical or whether it's important, it was motivated by something. And I'm saying that that something is supposed to be you. Don't let some white company tell you that only by buying something from them can you show your loved ones that you care. Buying something, that's love. Love is not jumping when some white corporation tells you to. And no, love is not buying other people gifts. Love is being there for them. That's what love is. They can depend on you. They can count on you. You're there. Your mind and your morals are damaged if you've been successfully indoctrinated to think of material items and only material items as the sole way to prove that you care about other people. And if you're not showing up with something, well, you didn't spend any money. Where's my material goods? Well, that's because you just don't care. See, that kind of transactional thinking, that's what's supposed to happen when it comes time to go to the ballot box. That transactional thinking is supposed to be what happens when you're talking with other people outside the community when it comes time to talk about business. Then it's supposed to be quid pro quo, tit for tat, etc., etc. But black folks got the game all backwards. We treat our ballot like it's a convent and we treat our wallet like it's a brothel. And that being the case, well, and I sincerely hope that you'll pardon my crude language, but for those who need to hear this message, I hope that you've gotten to the point where you've finally gotten tired of the holidays being the time of year that you get financially screwed. Black empowerment is not something that happens simply on the days that we remember our grandmaster teachers, freedom fighters, and heroes. Black empowerment is not just something that happens on the days when white supremacy has decided that it's going to go on a rampage. Black empowerment is not something that only happens on the days when we score a major blow or a minor one or a blow at all. Black empowerment is what you do every day. And the same goes for showing you care about people. It's not just something that you do on Thanksgiving or Black Friday or Cyber Monday or Christmas Day or etc. It's something that you do all the time. You're much better off sending somebody a card or even a phone call. Make contact with them. Tell them how you feel about them. That's how you show that you love somebody. And if the person comes up to you and says, well, where's my gift? That calls into question whether or not that person even loves you if that's the first thing that they're thinking about. You should have brought me something. This is a time of year when people make a lot of poor choices. They make a lot of poor choices when it comes to drinking and driving. It's a time of year when people are the most depressed. Suicides go up about this time of year. But most of all, people make very poor choices when it comes to their finances. This time of year is a very perilous one. And I'm telling you to get your wallet and your black empowerment out of danger. Your focus is supposed to be on what you need to be doing to empower yourself. To hell with those sales. To hell with those consumer items. When it comes to your loved ones, you're supposed to be talking to them. Spending time with them. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And that's far more important, and it's going to be far more valued than whatever it is that you picked up from Target, Best Buy, or Costco. Because merchandise is no substitute for a broken value system. And the reality is, if you're trying to plug all of those holes in your relationship, and if you're trying to plug the hole in your own soul with something that you bought online or picked up at the store, then your problem is a heck of a lot bigger than whether or not somebody's going to be happy with what you purchased. And that includes yourself. The pro-shopping, or rather pro-irresponsible spending propaganda is about to kick into ultra-high gear. We're going to be seeing plenty of that obese white man running around saying, ho, 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 give me some dough. And some of you might do it. But for the ones who actually got your heads on straight, you need to make sure that you don't let all of this impulse buying turn into impoverishment. Because for black folks, that's what usually happens. The bank account is usually on E. And especially around this time of year, it's not hard to tell where the money went. And yeah, I know that people were expecting on Thursday that there was going to be a no Thanksgiving moment of truth, but tell you the truth, I just don't care enough about the holiday even to dunk on it. It's just not that important. So I'll close out this evening address by saying that when it comes to your loved ones, the best gift that you can give them is the gift of you being there, spending time with them. That's more precious than anything you could buy, any sort of consumer electronics that you give to them. Your being there with them is something that can't really have a price tag put on it. And when it comes to you, the gift you're supposed to give yourself, now that is something that actually can be purchased with money, but we're talking about the gift of black empowerment. That's what you're supposed to be giving yourself. Use your money to finally put in motion something that's going to empower you. And also make sure that your bank account isn't empty this time of year. That way, when you say happy holidays, you'll actually be able to mean it. Good evening, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Carl Miller, City Soapbox TV, Deep Eye 904, Reasonable Dude, and Andre Evans. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.